Hello guys, how we doing? 12 at 12 again today, and because it's a Sunday, we're going to do our stretching and recovery session again today. So no equipment needed whatsoever, and I have slightly altered the tablet drill. So instead of 20 seconds on with 10 seconds off, I'm going to remove that middle 10 seconds. We're going to go 50 seconds on holding a stretch and just 10 seconds off, okay? So the first one is actually going to be a lower body kind of rotation to stretch out the lower back. So I'm just going to demo once on one side. It's fairly straightforward because all we're going to be doing is doing it to the left and then the right, left and then the right, and then that's the whole drill completed. So I'll just demo once, turn on the timer, and then we'll give that first one a go. When we're doing this one, I won't even talk because I'm demoing it now just for the first time, and you might even hear you can actually hear cracks in the lower back. Nothing to worry about if you do hear that, especially if this isn't a stretch or an exercise or anything that you do regularly. You're more likely to hear a bit of a kind of compensation sounding crack like that, as if you're cracking your knuckles. So just do one there to show you and we'll see if we can hear anything. So no crack for me now on that side, guys. Might be on the other. So this is essentially all we're going to be doing. One side. Jeez, there was a lot of cracks there on that side when I was talking, so I don't know if they were heard on camera. But that's essentially what we're going to be doing, guys. So I'll just talk you through it this time. We're going to lie down, legs outstretched. We bring our right leg in towards our chest. Right hand is out here at like a crucifix position, basically, okay, like that. But just one hand out, the right hand out while the right leg is in. You're going to reach beyond the right leg, cup underneath the knee, and bring the knee towards you even further, so that slightly lifts the glute. Head turns out right to the right hand, and the left hand pulls the right knee across the body. And there's a crack. Okay? And we're going to hold this down, breathing into it for 50 seconds. We'll come back out of it nice and slow. Extend the right leg down. Swap over the hand so the left arm goes out, crucifix position. Right arm comes across beyond the knee, cups underneath the knee, pulls it in towards the chest. My head now this time stays looking at left. Pull across. And we'll hold that side for 50. Okay? So, right to rock, guys. That's a really good one for loosening out the lower back. We've got 10 seconds to get ready in position now. So, lying down flat, legs outstretched, right hand out, right knee in. Twist the way into position. Always important to breathe into your stretches, guys. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And hold it for the full 50. So we're swapping sides. Left arm goes out. Left leg comes in. Pull it across the body again. Sorry, looking out the other way. I was looking the wrong way the last time. Breathing into it again, guys. Getting oxygen down to those working, stretching muscles. We only have one each left on each side. We're doing 2 in total because the stretches are 50 rather than 20. So plenty deep breathing here now. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Keeping the knee pulled up towards the chest as well as over towards the floor. Good. For the very last one, guys, I'll flip around this way, just show you from a different angle. So the left arm is outstretched, left leg comes in. So keep that knee pulled up as well as over to the floor. Up towards the chest, gets you a stretch on the glute. Over towards the floor, gets that rotation and stretch through the lower back. Plenty deep breathing. And back in and relax. Great stuff, guys. Good first drill. Next one is going to focus a lot on the quad muscle, the front of the thigh, but also down into the what's called the tibialis anterior here, which is essentially your shin muscle. So if you ever get shin splints, this is a good one that kind of focuses on that area. It's something that's given me a lot of trouble before with hiking and stuff. When I haven't been used to hiking, just getting into it and doing new climbs. So even this position here now that I'm sitting in is going to be challenging for some people. Just literally keeping your foot flat on the floor and sitting back onto it like that and putting some weight into it. The further you can manage to sit back, the better. So you can bring your hands behind you and walk yourself down a little. If you can get down onto your elbows, that's better again. And all the way down onto your back is where I'm going to try to position myself. And big deep breaths then back here. Okay, so we're going to try that one and then we're going to follow it up. Because that is quite intense, we're going to try to follow it up with a nice easy one. A yoga pose called child's pose. So you're putting your toes together at the back of the mat. You're spreading your knees out then slightly to the edge of the mat. You're going to try drop your forehead all the way to the ground. And then extend your arms out in front while your forehead is touching the floor. And then just breathe into it, guys. Hold the stretch. It's a relaxing stretch, but it also really gets the lat muscle here underneath the arm and into the back. So we're going to alternate those two. Again, I have the tablet timer set up without that middle 10-second rest. So we're going to go 50 seconds all the way through and then rest for just 10. Okay, so ready to rock, guys. We're going to do one for quads and shins first. So sitting back as far as you're comfortable and as far as you're able. I'm going to try to go all the way back onto the floor.
3, 2, 1.
Making sure you breathe through the stretch. If it becomes too intense and you need to get up out of it, do. Never hold your breath when you're stretching, guys. Always keep breathing. Great stuff. We're going to come into child's pose next. So feet together, knees pointed out, and we're going to drop the head right down. Again guys, loads of deep breathing. Very good guys. If on child's pose you can't get your forward all the way to the mat, get a cushion or something and throw that down. And then that way your head doesn't have to go quite as low. And you should be able to get into a nice relaxed position and really feel that stretch in the lats, which is the back muscle, one of the major big back muscles. Here now guys, you should be feeling this through the quads, through the front of the shins, and also slightly like into the top of the feet. So just keep breathing through it. Last time doing this stretch, it is a very intense one. Good stuff. So as I was saying, a pillow or a block or a yoga block or something like that if you have it. Toes together, feet out, and then you can bring your head to here. If that's all the range of motion you have, that's fine. But try to walk your hands forward then as much as possible. And the further your hands go forward, the more you should start to then feel it here, underneath the armpit into the lat muscle. Excellent stuff guys. Same as last week, so guys, there's a lot less talking while I'm demonstrating these, just because I'm trying to focus on my own breathing. It is very, very important when you're doing your stretches that you don't hold your breath, that you really focus on your breathing. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. When you're doing yoga, it's a bit more important to kind of continue to breathe in through the nose and back out through the nose, but for us now, with today, just in through the nose, out through the mouth. Don't worry too much about the specifics of in and out through the nose. So let's take my watch off for our last one, because we're going to stretch the forearms, and it's quite an intense sore stretch as well for a lot of people, because it's an area that a lot of us don't stretch. And we're then going to move on to a stretch for the triceps. So okay, so we're hitting the bottom half of the arm, top half of the arm. So we're going to go both forearms together, then left tricep, right tricep, and back and finish on both forearms together. Okay, so it'll be 4 in total. So for the forearm stretch, okay, instead of being on all fours like this in a tabletop position, right, with your fingers pointed forward, we're going to try to get into that position with your fingers pointed back. Okay, so rotate your hand fully around, fingers are pointed back towards you. Now if this already is very intense, you might need to shuffle your knees in a bit closer to your fingers, but what we want to aim to do is, in the kind of all four position of 2 hands down, 2 knees down, we want to then try to drop the glutes all the way down onto the heels. Now that's quite intense there, probably too intense for me, so I'm going to have to shuffle forward a bit and sit down to it there. Okay, so I'm really pushing my weight backwards. I'm going to ease off now a second, and just show you with one hand. So as I really push my way backwards, it's all the way up here through the wrist joint and up through the forearm muscle. So if any of you have suffered a bit of carpal tunnel, I suffer from it myself, it will help get blood flow and stretch out the lower half of the arm. Okay, so we're going to do that quite intense. We're going to hold it for 50 seconds. And then we're going to sit down, kneel down, whatever way you want to go, and we're going to stretch our tricep muscle here on the back of the arm. So we're going to lift one hand up over the back of the head, elbows pointed up the ceiling. We're going to grab it with the other hand around the elbow joint, and we're going to pull that down with the right hand, but at the same time the left hand then is pushing away against the right. So the left arm we're trying to push this direction, and we'll feel the stretch down there. And with the right hand, we're pulling it back the opposite direction. Okay, and that just creates that bit of tension and nice stretch all the way down here into the shoulder socket. Okay, so 2 of those stretches, guys. So we have the wrist is a double one, so working both arms, and then the tricep we're going to do left first, then right, and then back finish on the wrist. Okay, so we're ready to rock. This is our last habit already. 10 seconds here now to get ready in position to stretch the forearms. So turn the fingertips back towards the knees, and then sit right back into it. Deep breathing straight away, guys. It is quite intense if you haven't done it before. You never really want to overstretch either, guys. A small little bit of discomfort is okay, but like you don't want to be stretching where you're really in pain. Good stuff. So we're going to come back to that last now again for the 4th one, but for now it's triceps. So left elbow up in the air, grab it with the right hand, pull down with the right arm, push away and up with the left elbow. And again, loads of deep breathing. So we're really hitting the entire arm now with these 2 stretches. This one on the top half. First one we did on the bottom half. So we should have nice blood flow through the arms after today.
3, 2, 1.
Well done, down and loosen out. So that one there now is stretching all down the left tricep. Now we're aiming for the right. So right elbow pointed at the ceiling. Pull it down with the left hand and push away with the left upper arm. These are 2 real big problem areas that I've had myself since my injury. My blood flow has been really restricted. All my nervous system damaged by the neck injury. So 2 very, very important stretches for me, and as I said, I also suffered then with carpal tunnel. So if you've suffered with that yourself, these are good stretches to get some blood flow through the arms, through the forearm, right down into the wrists, into the hands.
3, 2, 1.
Good stuff, guys. So we're back into our stretch for the forearms. I'm going to try keep my knees a little further away this time and make that stretch just a little bit more intense. A lot more intense actually, to be honest. Feeling it already. This is our last stretch of the day now, guys, so big deep breaths as we're going. Always important to take a day of rest, day of recovery, mobility, flexibility, stretching. Just leave the body recover. Awesome work, guys. Loosen out the wrist there, that is quite an intense one. But very good work overall. Hope you enjoyed today again. As I said, I got great feedback about last week's episode. So if you want to check back, actually since I put that up on my story that I got good feedback about it, I also got messages saying, oh, I never saw that. So all the old videos, guys, this is actually, believe it or not, episode 21 already today. So I've done 3 full weeks of these 12 at 12 videos. I kind of can't believe that 3 weeks after passing already. But all the old videos are up on my YouTube channel. So you can go across there and subscribe. There is warm-up videos, there's cool-down videos, there's ones that are specific on abs, specific on shoulders, there's loads of different things, and that's all just in the 12 for 12 series. I've also put up my own fasted cardio and core workouts, as well as loads of other videos. There's talks on nutrition, everything on the YouTube channel, guys, so make sure you please go across and subscribe and like any of the videos that you see. So as always, guys, we're done for today. Wash the hands, stay safe, stay home, help the HSC, and I will chat to you tomorrow. Thank you. Take care.